In this video, I want to talk about the pros of doing business in the Philippines. Let's go. What are the main pros to doing business in the Philippines? One of the first things that I'd want to say is that the world is really changing, it's shifting, it's becoming so much more of a small place. Now this has been happening since travel has become easier with boats and then planes and so many ways that people were able to travel, and then of course the internet made the world such a smaller place. But now, especially I think post-pandemic, if you could say post-pandemic, some people might not feel that way yet, but especially during this time where the world had to live for a few years really locked down, or where they weren't able to travel as freely as before, people found that the world really became even smaller than ever before, with people communicating remotely. And I think because of that, with so much of the workforce in countries working from home, not working in the office, people started to have the thought, if we could work remotely with co-workers not in the office from home, then maybe we could also work remotely with people that are in another country. And because of that, so many people are thinking of countries like the Philippines to do business with. And that means with so many types of businesses, especially ones like I have with Purple Cow, where we are helping businesses with marketing and sales and outsourced employees, the world is truly a small place. So there's so many countries like the US that are really struggling to find people that want to work at all, and so they're reaching out to places like the Philippines. And I think if you are here, there's a lot of opportunities that are very positive to be able to do business globally. A second reason that I think is really a pro for doing business in the Philippines is that in a lot of ways there's less competition that are doing things at a really high level. When you come from places like the US and especially the Silicon Valley, where I'd been for a long time before moving to the Philippines, people have such incredibly high expectations for everything. They want the most variety, they want the lowest cost, they want the best quality, they want it to be innovative, new, shiny, flashing, on and on. And when you come to the Philippines, there's really just less companies here that I find that are doing things with that level of expectations. And it's one of the things that I've needed to talk about my team with ever since I got here, is that we want to do things with the same level of expertise and professionalism as our California team. So if you have a business here, when you've been used to the standards in other places, you could really stand out from the crowd if you use the same level of work ethic, of creativity, of innovation in order to make people happy here. So think outside of the box like you would in your country of origin, and I think that you'll find there's so many possibilities of really standing out from the crowd here in the Philippines. Another perhaps more obvious pro of doing business in the Philippines is cost. So definitely there's a lower labor cost here. Things aren't always as efficient, so I don't think that you could really compare employee to employee. Sometimes things just cost more because of the nature of doing work here. However, overall, cost is definitely a lot lower here when it comes to certain things in business. Be prepared, however, some things like real estate costs and other things for business, internet, different expenses like that might be exactly the same as the country that you are from. Another pro to doing business in the Philippines is the people. And this is really where I want to live you. At the end of the day, work for me is so much about who you are working with. And I gotta say, I just love our team here at Delish Deli, at Purple Cow. They're just really a joy to work with, and for me, makes all the difference in the world. Years back when I was thinking of opening up another office in another part of the world, and I really thought about where would I want to work with people day after day, and I'd worked with people from quite a few different countries, and the Philippines really stood out to me as the #1 place that I would want to work with people. And so ultimately, I think the pro to doing business in the Philippines, last but not least, really has to do with the people here. If you have thought about starting a business in the Philippines, make sure and reach out to me. If you already have a business here, I would love to hear from you as well. Drop a comment below. And as always, guys, I always appreciate you taking the time to watch, and take care.